Hey, welcome to Revolution Health. This is Dr. Jason Dean on I think it's Tuesday afternoon when you're in this business of helping people. We actually go to work enjoying what we do every single day, whether it's in an office or here on video. So we sometimes forget what day it is and what time it is, but that's all good. Joining me today on Revolution Health is a old friend, I guess you would say, as we just spoke about on camera before this, but Dr. Josh Handt. Dr. Handt, welcome to the show today.
Man, great. Thanks for having me, Dr. Jason. You can just call me Josh for this show. Let's keep it fun and informal, I should say. And let's rock and roll, man. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. And he is actually in. I grew up in New York originally, not in the city, but upstate New York. So Josh is actually from my favorite city on the planet. He's in. Are you in Manhattan right now?
Yeah, well, not right at the moment. I practice in New York City. I live just outside the city in the suburbs. So
okay, great.
I'm in the city 3 days a week. And get to play in a nice area of the Upper West Side.
Awesome. Very cool. So do me a favor, because we watch each other, we follow each other, and you have some nice branding in the back of you called the Lifestyle Locker. And I wanted to bring up the word lifestyle with you because obviously you and I understand this on a daily basis, but everyone watching this show, some are practitioners, obviously, some are people just wanting to get healthier in their daily life. You and I have essentially grown up in a bit of a different lifestyle than the average American out there that's on a bunch of prescription medications. So give me a little bit of your background and story on, where you came from, what you practice every day, and just how your lifestyle is different, which even includes your entire family going back a couple of generations.
All right. Yeah. So I'll start I'm not going to go too far back, but I grew up in a chiropractic family. So for those that may or may not know, where chiropractic families usually do not vaccinate, which is like mind blowing to some people. But I was brought up vaccination free. I was the kid in school, like with my brother and sister, younger brother and sister. When people get sick, we'd always ask them, "Did your dad adjust you?" Because our father was a chiropractor. We thought that was a normal thing, and people were saying, "No, we take Advil." And we'd be like, "You can't take drugs. That's so bad." So that was my way of growing up. Grew up pretty active. I got into skiing at like 4 years old, and then started to find funky sports as I went through life. In undergrad, I didn't find chiropractic. I kind of thought that everybody would see a chiropractor. It was just normal to me. I get adjusted once a week on a regular basis. If I got injured, I'd get adjusted more. Or if my lifestyle was more intense, I get adjusted more. So to kind of not like drag the story out, I graduated with a marketing and finance degree and then jumped, into an anatomy and physiology class because I couldn't see myself sitting. I was in an internship at Sony Pictures. Sitting on I think it was the 16th floor. As the story goes in my head, looking at the windows, going, I cannot be here in 20 years or 30 years, just staring at these same windows. So I took an anatomy and physiology class. Thank God my teacher was awesome, and I just I applied to chiropractic school right as I'm getting ready to graduate undergrad. And the story turned. I went right to chiropractic school, fell in love with it, and been practicing and preaching this lifestyle of active movement, healthy mindset, getting adjusted, healthy nutrition, to my patients, to myself, to my family. So it's just a way of life, and it's pretty neat.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And that's awesome. And it's how our families are actually growing up. And it's funny because no matter who comes to battle, whether it's a vaccine person or a medication person, whatever it is, it's kind of like no one wants to necessarily listen or believe, but yet we're living that out every day. And you're a perfect example of that because, you're just living this lifestyle. Again, you haven't been tainted with all this chemical exposure growing up. And yet It's interesting. You don't get diseases, you don't get sick, and you're living, again, the healthy lifestyle. So it's fantastic. I really appreciate that message. Now, diving into mindset, because I know you work hard on this, and I know you're really great with this, but also you're seeing patients on a daily basis to come in. And from give me kind of what you see from a bad standpoint, not because I want to stay in the negativity, but you see people coming in who've been maybe even diagnosed with a problem, they're on medications, et cetera, versus where they need to be with a mindset and how you help them get there, even in the office or just what you see on a daily basis from a mindset standpoint.
Okay. Yeah. So mindset, I think, is one of the biggest things, whether you're an athlete, a mom, a dad, an average person like myself, I would say mindset is going to lead you down the road of good or lead you towards bad. And mindset, just to kind of, I guess, I don't know if I can give you an exact definition of it, but when we think of mindset, it's kind of how we perceive our lives and our daily lives and the situations and things that go on in our lives. And our perception is really all just a choice. All right. So, I'll give you the perfect example, whether it's me talking to a patient or even to you, it's like, you ever stub your toe in the morning, you have one of those mornings you stub your toe, like right out of bed and you're like, son of a, and then like the rest of the day will just follow, because what happened, that little corner of your bed and your toe meeting changed something in your head, got you ticked off a little bit, shifted that mindset, and you were not, and I don't want to sound bad, but you weren't powerful enough to go, okay, it's over. That was an event that just happened. My toe may be sore for a couple hours and I'll get over it. And now the rest of the day can be awesome. So I talk to patients about stuff like this all the time, because they'll, if someone's got a chronic problem and they're like, oh man, this is just so tough. Why am I not getting better faster? And I'll be like, listen, Mary, Joe, whoever, you've had this problem for a dozen years. You got to just be open to change and going just into mindset and then lifestyle. It's, you got to just start to look at the positive things. And that may sound cheesy to some people, but it's truth. And this as a doc as well, that your thoughts change your physiology, the way our insides work, whether they put us in a stress response, like that fight or flight response, or that healing, growing response, we can actually control that, which is really cool. So you have to bring this to these patients' awareness in normal terms, but saying, listen, you're human. You've been able to, you were born, right? So you went from 2 cells. So you were a thought first, and then 2 cells to trillions of cells, a living, breathing human being. So if that can happen in your body, or you can become a body, you think an injury can heal? And it's like, oh, we just got to bring that question back to reality. Go, holy cow, you know what? I think I can. I've broken bones and torn my meniscus and all sorts of crazy things. And I've had an anaphylactic shock a couple of times, which is quite scary. But I've always bounced back. The body's amazing. And mindset is the first step of awareness that things can shift and change.
And you actually help people. I mean, you're obviously in practice, but you're also helping clients who are maybe not even understanding this whole thing. But I mean, what you said was actually genius, because we are dealing with a world where everyone thinks, oh, we're genetically predisposed to this thing, or genetically this is what's going to happen to me because my family did or whatever. And they almost, I never want to sound negative to people, but some people actually become basically a victim. And so, and you're practicing in New York City, which is obviously a melting pot of so many personalities. But from a standpoint of that, do you see people coming in almost, or even clients that have been almost maybe labeled something, or they've taken on a label of something, and they may even be having trouble getting over that hurdle to find out that they can actually potentially heal themselves?
Yeah, I mean, people will own the diagnosis of whatever another doctor may have said, and I'm sure you may have seen this in your practice. I know other chiropractors have. It's, I've had patients come up to me, and it's I don't want to say it's the simplest thing, but this is the thing. It's okay. Someone come in back pain. I just one patient that I remember to this day, one of my first patients ever, came in. He's like, listen, I'm supposed to get back surgery. I don't know if you can help me. And, long story short, this guy came in, listened to the story about the body, how it can heal itself. It's an amazing thing. We take pressure off the nerves and let the body function. And then the lifestyle kind of has to be dripped in as we go under care. And this is 12 years. This guy has not had surgery, refers people all the time. And he always goes back to his story where he's like, I was told something different by my chiropractor than I was told by a physician. I was told that I'm done, I'm broken, I need repair parts, versus my body's amazing, it can heal. And now I'm here, 12 years later, kids later, the whole 9 yards. So cool things happen.
That is pretty awesome. I want to dive into a little bit because even though I'm a chiropractor, I don't always have a lot of chiropractors on the actual interviews. I want to dive in though because of your chiropractic background and your understanding of this nervous system and how it controls everything. And I actually just I don't really want to ask you a question. I almost want you to kind of just get on a little pedestal here and give me your take on this beauty and genius of chiropractic, because I think there's still a lot of people out there who believe we're neck pain, back pain type mentalities. And yet I want you to actually tie in this whole mindset and how our body heals along with the nervous system in chiropractic. So just have fun with that.
All right. So we'll go at it a physical way, and then we'll go at it a mental way. Actually, I'll go vice versa. I'm going to go mental first and physical. This is important. And what I said before, I think is so important for those that are listening and watching, is that our physiology, the way our body works from the inside out, is controlled by our central nervous system, which we know is called the brain and spinal cord. And then we have 31 pairs of nerves that come out to every single cell, tissue, organ in the whole body. So it's kind of like the mainframe hub of the body, as you know. So with mindset, if we stub our toe, or let's say here's something simple. If I was behind you and clapped my hands really loud and startled you, I just made you kind of like, holy cow. I just changed your blood pressure, your heart rate, made you shoot adrenaline to your system. This whole chemical barrage of things happened because you thought something. Not because I touched you, but because you thought something. And that's what we call a stress response or a fight or flight response. So that can change the whole physiology of the whole body. But what happens when we're in those stress responses, we're not designed to heal. We're designed to fight or run, right? Fight or flight. And in the real world, we're not being chased by saber-toothed tigers. We're not being chased by maybe in Africa or something. But in the city, I have people that are under these chronic versions of this stress. And then different chemicals start to pour out and their body will actually start to break down from the inside out. It starts with the neurology and then it trickles down into all the different systems of the body. And knowing that and seeing that is very scary and very real when we start to bring awareness to people, because we're in those states, we're in those chronic stress states, we can't actually heal. Right? People are like, I'm taking the best supplements in the world. I'm exercising. I'm doing all this stuff. Yes, but your nervous system is so taxed and it's so, I'm going to use the word subluxated for those that I'll explain that in a minute, but so subluxated that our nervous system is just not able to turn itself back on the proper way. So when we talk about, for us as chiropractors, when we talk about the hierarchy of healing, lifestyle is very important, but if your communication between your brain and your body is getting kind of interfered with or getting fuzzy, it can never work at 100%, regardless of the good nutrition I'll take, regardless of, if I go run a 50K marathon, it's not going to fix the problem, right? I'll be constantly under that chronic stress. So paying attention to the thoughts that are going in and out of your head all day. I know it's crazy, but start to own them and take responsibility for your own thoughts. You don't, if you're pissed at someone, you don't need to be pissed for the rest of your life. You can give it 10 minutes and then get over it and move on. I know people look at me like, how do you do that? This doesn't make sense. Practice, like anything else, right? Practice. So let's get into the physical portion of chiropractic, and then how the body can change and heal and become pretty amazing. And then we dump lifestyle into the process. I mentioned that word subluxation to you, and we want to get into the nervous system. So if we kind of take the brain and the brain out of the body and look at it, and the spinal cord is not a separate piece. A lot of us are kind of have this perception that the brain is here and then the spinal cord is this other thing. I kind of try to explain it to people. It's like picture like putty being pulled down out of the brain, right? So it's like this funnel of material, of nerves that come out and then branch out to everything. And the spine has all of these different bones, which we call vertebrae. I know I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to everybody else. Jay,
absolutely,
right?
You preach on, man.
All right. So we have all of these bones. You got 24 that are moving, hopefully. But if something gets stuck, shifted out of alignment, gets a little funky in its position, and people say I'm tight, and that's usually a really bad word, because tight means a muscle, right? We have layers, but so we're stuck. We're like fixated and not in the right place. We call it a subluxation, because now that interferes with the communication. If you're going to try to think of and I hate to dumb it down this way, and I hate to use that word either, but if we, I had to explain this to someone, because I speak English sometimes well, right? So I had a Spanish speaking patient in the other day, and yesterday actually, and I had to try to explain this concept to him because he was referred directly to us, but he speaks very little English, but he understood. I said, listen, if I take a garden hose and start to squeeze it at one end, will water come at the other end? And he started shaking his head. Then I started to point at the picture of the spine and the nerves, and he goes, I got it. So the brain-body connection is super important. If we're subluxated, we can affect everything from how we feel, that neck pain, back pain. Man, chiropractic works way better than drugs or surgery. Way better. I see it time in, time out, every single day in my practice. Some people would rather be chemically altered and be in a chemical state, and that's sad because it's not going to usually end up in a good way for their body. But what we get to see when we get to help people with neck pain and back pain and headaches, yeah, those things are like, I always call our bread and butter. It's easy stuff. But when people get the aha or that wow miracle experience, like, hey doc, I came in for a headache, but I have slept through the night and I haven't done that in 25 years. Oh, I get what you do now. So the nervous system and chiropractic and the whole kind of intimate relationship between the spine and the brain body experience is so huge and so amazing. So for those that are listening and watching, if you haven't been to a chiropractor, you got to go. I don't care where you are in the country or in the planet. It's something you got to add as a piece of your lifestyle, and it should be something you should do. And I can't tell you how many times it should be adjusted. I get adjusted every week. My wife gets adjusted every week. My nephew gets adjusted, and our family. That's the way we live. So that's what we find that works the best. So that's my rant on that. And I don't know if you want me to dive into lifestyle, how we kind of apply some of that in our practice and how I apply it with Lifestyle Locker as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And first off, thank you for that explanation, both on a quote unquote the vitalism side and from a physical aspect, but also from a mental aspect on what's happening, because, it's unless you've been adjusted and felt that actual experience. And a lot of people have been scared off of it, but I mean, it's so priceless to watch somebody even get for the first time and watch their nervous system get reset, and they go and sit up and they have this look in their eyes of like, what just happened? But also they physically feel different. And you just talked about pain, and some people choose, whether it's a chemical solution to pain or it's a physical, you and I, if we ever have pain, I personally, I know I want it to go away as fast as possible, whether it be a headache or something like that. Not that we get them often anymore anyway, because of our lifestyle, but we have so many people out there living with, they think it's normal to have 3 headaches a week and 1 migraine. And they don't understand that, that's not normal, because you should have 0. So you preaching like that is huge, because I appreciate, yes, we can handle pain, but it's not about the pain. It's about actually resetting that nervous system, getting rid of the subluxation, getting pressure off that nerve. And that example of using with the garden hose is genius, because, we're in a hot summer right now, whether it's New York or Florida where I am. You can only pinch off that hose to the garden, for a couple of days before everything dies in it. And you do not want that happening to your organ systems in your body that those nerves are all attached to. So genius. And let me dive into a lifestyle, because if anyone follows you, Dr. Josh, they know you are an active man, both you and your wife. We see out there like running around like crazy, not just exercise, but actually enjoying yourself and being happy. So do me a favor and dive into you believe the importance of this type of active and happy lifestyle also on your health.
Yeah, I mean, I practice what I preach. That's what it really comes down to. And lifestyle is kind of like an overview. And the way I kind of look at it, and I'll look at it through like the lens of Lifestyle Lockers. It's it's kind of maximizing human potential. Like what's our really like our God-given, our human potential? Like what do we have? And if we kind of look at it at an overview, there's a lot of pieces to like this puzzle. But if we look at we'll look at simple things, like we have our physical body. That's one of my strengths. That's like my go-to thing. I love exercise. I love actually challenging my body, because if someone says that's not possible or you can't do it, I'm the first person to say, I'm going to give it a shot. Like, you're crazy. Like, that's my mentality. Not that I go out to hurt myself or anything, but I find the way to do it in a healthy, natural way, which may have not ever been done before, or find and learn from people that have done it the best way and apply it. So I have a very fun physical aspect that we talk about, the mental aspect and mindset. That's huge. I journal every day. I meditate every day. I'm very active in being present with myself. Am I perfect? Hell no. No way in hell. Are there days that I miss a meditation? Are there days that I miss something I really want to do? Yeah, I'm human just like everyone else. But if I try to weigh my odds in the sense that, I put 80% of the time I'm doing pretty good. If I screw up 20%, it's going to push some of that stuff out of the way. So there's the mental aspect. And those two are big things. I do a lot of different breathing techniques. Some people have maybe heard of like Wim Hof, like the Iceman. Mm-hmm. I do some of his work. Dr. Joe Dispenza is another one. I'm just going to plug a couple awesome names of people that I've learned from, like Joe Dispenza and Wim Hof are 2 biggies. And I'm a Tony Robbins fan as well. So I learn from these masters that are really well, and I apply this mindset portion into my life. Nutrition is another biggie. And nutrition, I have this conversation with my dad all the time. We talk about food and eating things and live to eat versus eat to live. And we kind of have different philosophies, and that's totally great. But when we talk about nutrition, it's like, you know what? You can throw like a dart at like a dartboard and pictures of 8 million different squares to hit. That's how many different philosophies on nutrition there are.
Absolutely.
Right. And I don't want to tell you which one may be the right one for you or the next person, But I'll tell you this, there are healthier things that you can do every day that are better for a human than would be better for, like, a rock. We eat food that, like, a rock's not even living, right? I wouldn't even feed a rock half the stuff that's out there in grocery stores right now. So nutrition becomes a huge portion of it. And then balance with your spouse or family, whether it be like a brother or a sister, mom or dad, kids. That balance is so important. And that's something I have to work on a very regular basis, because as an entrepreneur who loves doing stuff like this with you and being on my own podcast and running a practice and constantly going, making time for the most important people in your life is probably the most important thing, because if you run them out of your life, you're going to be miserable. Right. Because most of us, me as a guy, I can't speak for a woman, but, I take a lot of responsibility for the result I get in my relationship. And sometimes it's hard, like sometimes when it's really good, yes. When it's tough, it's tough. All right. And it's okay. It's called a relationship. Right. So, and I have that different relationships with different people in my family. And I work hard to make sure that I can keep that good. And I know you saw, like, my wife and I just did a trip on a boat, picture, like, a small boat for 7 days in close quarters. So if we couldn't communicate and have fun together, it would have been, button heads the whole time, but we actually had a blast. It was actually very good. I was very pleasantly surprised and excited that we can do that, what we did, where I see people butt heads, if they're in the same house. We were in like 100 square feet. So we got that piece. And then maybe the last piece is just having fun, finding something you'd love to do. I find different things all the time that I like to do. And like I said, activities are my favorite things. So whether it's like, jumping out of an airplane or bungee jumping or running a marathon or an ultra marathon through the woods, or playing with my nephew, like, who's, just a year old. Like, these are things that make me happy. And if you can't find that in life, you just got to start looking harder, because a lot of it's right in front of you. So yeah, lifestyle is huge and important.
You're going after the big three. I mean, for anybody listening here, the physical, mental, spiritual aspects of health, because so many people are going, okay, well, let me just take care of the physical, or let me just take care of the spiritual or the mental. And yeah, they may have an increase in one area, but they're falling short on the whole triangle. They're just not getting there. And what you're literally saying is like, hey, you don't succeed necessarily every single day, or you succeed, but you have some failures along the way. And what your message right now seems like is, even if you do fail, like, just get back up, because are you perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. And anybody out there who is having an issue with maybe even just a disease process or their health in general is, okay, you know what? You failed. Start again today or tomorrow.
Yeah. I just want to share one little thing that I learned from someone that I interviewed on my podcast. It was so powerful. And he calls it something called AMWAPS, AMWAPS. And in CrossFit, I used to be a CrossFitter, something called AMRAP means as many repetitions as possible. And AMWAP, that means as many wins as possible. And what he means by that is, look at your day. Like, you can do some midday or the end of the day. Like, a win could be, listen, I ate a salad today. A win could mean, I went for a walk because I couldn't go for a run. Or, stuff like that. So you start to look at the little wins. Like, we kind of discount if we don't hit our target at 100%, and that screws with our mindset big time. I'm very guilty of that at times. It's like, crap, I wanted to run that mile in 7 minutes instead of 7.5 minutes. Holy crap. I just ran a 7-minute mile, man. I'm like, I'm not a crazy runner. Like, that's good. So I beat myself up for the bad stuff. Or the little micro loss, if you will, which is not even a loss, right? So we got to look for the little wins that will start to add up, and you go, holy cow, this is actually neat. And you can make a little journal of it or something and go, okay, I do a lot of good stuff.
That's awesome. Now you are helping a ton of people with that little brand behind you. I want you to talk real quick before we close out here. The Lifestyle Locker, as well as what you're doing with it, how you're helping people. Anyone here that's listening who may want to even jump in and communicate with you, let us know what you're doing with it, how you help people with that.
Okay. So, Lifestyle Locker, like I said, is a human potential company. We're a young company. We are growing and creating programs that are going to be available. Like, we have one right now. It's called our 45-day endurance program, endurance challenge, which plugs people in that may it's for runners. Right. We'll just say that straight up front. So it's for someone that's listening. I'm at a 5K. I want to get to a 10K half marathon. ultra marathon. And it's a way, and I hate to use the word hack, but it's a way to maximize your potential in a short period of time without driving yourself crazy and go forward. So that's like an example of what we'll be doing. But we also, I give away a lot of content through my podcast, like just like yourself, with guests that I absolutely love, people that I learn from. So we try to have people just share, like I'm doing with you and your show, have people get something that they can be proactive and do. So like on our website on lifestylelocker.com, what I give away a book called Inside the Locker, and it kind of goes over some of the stuff we spoke about today. I give it away for free because I want people to kind of just be able to open up and go, oh, there is something that's different out there. Maybe I should try something new or different. Doesn't mean you need to do it with me, but it means you have these 100 people I've interviewed or however many it is so far to date. Where can you apply that? Like, what can you do and learn from these people? So I'm on a mission to get people to find natural, healthy, vitalistic type of ways to just have a better lifestyle, whether it's gratitude or nutrition or running, whatever it may be, or seeing a chiropractor for God's sake, right? All of these different things. I try to push people in areas and share with them so they can make healthy, conscious decisions, not just being blinded by, the regular media that's out there, telling us our body's dumb and sick and we need drugs and we need this and we need that. And we really don't.
Totally agree. So do me a favor before we end off today. Let's have a little fun. Let everyone know something they can do, say tomorrow or this weekend, that you have just recently done because of your dude. You look like you have a blast all the time. We heard the boat. Give me one more. What have you done super fun lately that people can just experience more of life with?
Well, I'll give you a little lifestyle hack that I absolutely love. How about that? This is something that will for anybody that wants to burn fat, have more energy, be more awake, more alert, just be like amped up in the first thing in the morning. You're not going to like me for this, but I'm going to tell you to do it because it's awesome. You'll be so jacked up. So wake up in the morning, shuffle into your bathroom, turn the shower on, get in the shower, start taking your shower. Before you get out of your shower and you're clean, start to turn that hot water down slowly. Okay. Let it hit you for about 30 seconds where you're comfortable, where you're not like going to wake someone else up in your house because you're screaming it's so damn cold. But get to the point where you could spin inside in the shower for about 30 seconds where it's a little uncomfortable, and then do this daily until you can get it to where that cold or that hot is completely off, where it's really cold. This will give you all sorts of good, healthy things to do in your life, and it takes 30 seconds. So I'm not going to take a lot of your day. It's something that anybody can do. I would do that. And I'm just going to give you one more thing. Get a journal. I don't have one of mine in front of me. Get a journal, right? And write something you're grateful for, whether it's a family member, whatever it may be. Write something small every day. It could be a line or two, and just date it and write it and, look at it and put it away. Do that every day. You can do it when you wake up in the morning. It's great. I like to do it at night because it helps wind your brain down so you have something good and positive in there, and then put it down and go to bed. So that's what I would do. Freeze in the morning, gratitude at night.
I love that, man. And everyone, before we head out, look at his shirt that says every day is training day. Dude, it doesn't get any better than that. And that also for everybody, every day is training day. You're either improving yourself or you're not improving yourself. And obviously we can't move forward as a civilization, community, planet without taking care of ourselves. So Dr. Josh, before we head out, tell everyone where they can find you and to hear more of you and get information from you.
All right, great. So you can go to lifestylelocker.com. It's the easiest, simplest place. You can dive there, but I'm pretty active on social media. So we're at Lifestyle Locker on Facebook, and I'm at Dr. Josh Handt on Instagram, Dr. Josh Handt at Instagram. And I'm sure that it'll be in the show notes. But that's where I hang out. You can find me there. I am on Twitter, other things, but those Facebook and Instagram are my two biggies.
Awesome. Very cool. So follow Dr. Josh. We will actually put his information below as well, and go to Revolution Health. The same thing. Log on. If you are hitting me up, you're hitting him up. So we all roam together because we're trying to improve for a better planet. So go after his information, take advantage, do whatever he offers, because obviously look at him. He's living a great lifestyle. He's healthy. This is just the chiropractic lifestyle, man. I love it. Dr. Josh Handt, thank you for being on the show today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Have an awesome day. And can I just say one last thing?
You go for it.
I forgot to say.
Go for it.
Make sure you're listening to Dr. Jason's podcast, because you're going to get tons of information. You're going to, like I shared on Lifestyle Locker Radio, my podcast, you're going to get content which is useful to having a healthier, better life. So that's all I just wanted to say. So thank you so much for that. And I want to make sure people are listening.
Absolutely. I appreciate it as well. And that's it for Revolution Health today. We are literally, as Dr. Josh said, we're going to flip this whole thing upside down. We're going to get everyone going with a positive mindset and become healthier and realize you don't have to live sick. You don't have to have the chemical medication exposure, vaccine exposure. You can actually live a promising, healthy, motivational life without all that. So guys, have a great Tuesday afternoon. For Revolution Health, we're signing off. Have a great day.